Oh, we're gonna use this. This is it.
You gotta restart it though. You're gonna say it again. I cut it.
Why?
I started in the middle.
Why did you stop it? Start it right now. Record now.
We're recording.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to Cups of Crazy. I'm Rachel.
Emily.
Hello.
All right.
Again, as we always start off, thank you so much for all the support. We have someone watching or listening in Norway, which is really great. We're getting a lot of views on the website. We got a lot of download clicks for the PDF for the 30-day challenge, which this is the most consistent thing I've ever done in my life. I've done it every day. Lee has her own ways. She started working and stuff. And so, but I tell her everything that I'm doing so we can always have like positive feedback with each other. Like, what'd you do today for self-care, blah, blah. So yeah, thank you to everybody that's listening, watching, subscribing, following. We appreciate it. And please make sure you download our episodes on the podcast. Those numbers greatly affect how we get into the algorithm to be seen or to be heard. So I was listening to iMusic or whatever, just my playlist was playing, and Alanis Morissette came on, and it was You Ought to Know. I mean, obviously Jagged Little Pill was the best CD like ever.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, and I was like, had that song come out these days, would it be as like, like how that WAP whatever thing is like such a big deal? Like if you hear the lyrics and you're listening, like really listen, it's like she was fucking pissed. Like, are you thinking of me when you fucked? What?
See, I don't think
I'm not quite as well. I thought you should know. Like, wow.
I honestly don't think it would have the same effect as it did back then. Like when you think about her and like all the different artists that were out at that time, they all just made the 90s what they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it would be totally different just because the garbage that is out there now.
Exactly. But I think nowadays, like, because like thinking back then, like, my mom used to play that cassette on repeat.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
In Matchbox 20.
Exactly. Yep. And Black Crows or Counting Crows.
Yes.
Yep. But so, and I don't even think they had like explicit or edited versions of the cassettes back then, so like I heard everything, but I didn't know what it was, but I was singing every lyric like it was my business. Like, did she go down on you in the theater? Like, why are you letting me sing this?
Seriously. I think a
you
lot
don't
of it,
know.
right. I think a lot of it too is some of those lyrics back then, like my mom sang them wrong. So it was like, she didn't know what the hell she was saying.
Right.
I knew the right lyrics and I was just singing them, but
right.
It's just kind of funny.
Have you ever heard a song like, like recently in the past couple of years of a song that you listened to like decades ago and you're like, that's what they were saying? Like, as in like you were singing the wrong words for 20 years?
Yep.
Yep. That happens to me quite often.
You know what song? So I'm trying to think, I think it's by the Rolling Stones, Beast of Burden or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So until maybe like a year ago, I thought it was Beast of Suburban or Suburban.
I always thought it was, like,
or Big Suburban. I was like, wait, what?
To be a burden or a piece of something, always singing it wrong. Yeah. I didn't know until like 2 years ago that that's what they were saying.
Me either. And it's the name of the song.
I know. You know what song
Sherpa.
I like? It reminds me of my dad, but that song Blister in the Sun. Yeah. Fucking love that song. I don't know why. But yeah, so today, that was funny. Today we're gonna be talking, I know, like I said, we said the last time, we're still getting our feet wet and everything, and we got some feedback, and we take all feedback. Constructive criticism is, we accept it kindly as long as you're not mean about it.
Yeah. It's key to growth.
It is, and we want to grow because we really believe that we can help people, and that's really what we want to do. And it's come to our attention that a couple of people, they're kind of asking like, well, what are you doing? Because it seems like you're talking a lot about relationships. It seems like sometimes you're man bashing, but that's not what we're trying to do. You know, this is about mental health, and relationships affect mental health very much, like, and not intimate ones. Every relationship you have, to the friends you have, you know, to the family you have, you know, family can be absolutely toxic. Hello.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, we're still getting our feet wet. So we did talk a little bit about relationships and stuff like that, but again, it's a big part of mental health, and nobody is man bashing. We actually, our demographic is mostly men, which surprised me. And you know,
Not
Malcolm's,
me,
well,
considering
yeah.
where most of them are from.
What?
Nothing.
No. What?
I said, considering where most people are from, it doesn't.
Oh, right.
surprise
Yeah.
me.
Well, Malcolm's podcast, their demographic is middle-aged white women.
See
And
that? Yeah, that's not surprising.
right. It's like the opposite. And our demographic is mostly men. And actually, I'm happy about that, because my mom's like, well, you guys are pretty girls and whatever. But men are so less likely to talk about depression and issues and self-care and all that. So we welcome all male listeners, because what we have applies to the human race, not
Right.
to any particular person, you know, creed, color, ethnicity, religion, anything. Like, we want to help everybody, and people are suffering in silence. So today, after getting that criticism, we decided to change it up. We were going to do a series on unhealthy or toxic relationships, which we will still do, but we thought that we would take a break from maybe man bashing. Apparently, these are just the men that we've dealt with. I was not being I was not trying to be general of all men. We just I have happened to have had bad experiences with men since childhood, so it's like,
Right.
so today is self-care, and I'm going to start off with a quote from a book. I got this book, I'd say about 6 months to, no, it was when I lived over there, like a year ago. And it's called The Self-Love Workbook. I'm not sure if we're allowed to promote or not, but it helps. And it's by, can't pronounce her last name, but her name, but her last name is Ali, and she's a PhD. And it says it's a life-changing guide to boost self-esteem, recognize your worth, and find genuine happiness. And doing all that stuff puts your life in a better place, because when you love yourself, or you know your worth, you don't accept less than you deserve. So in the chapter for self-care, it says there's only one corner of the universe that can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. And I feel like that is true.
Right.
Yeah. So what are some things you do for self-care?
Mine are pretty simple, I would think. Especially like when I need alone time, which is essential for me.
Very, me too.
I'll go on drives and just like listen to music, maybe grab a coffee, crap like that. Music is a big one. Or I like ASMR. I like watching ASMR. So that's very relaxing to me. And that's something I've only started doing probably in the past like 7 or 8 months. I kind of stumbled upon it, and I was like, what is this? And it was something that I always thought was weird that I liked.
Yeah.
You know, different things like that. So that's helped a lot. Even if, you know, I'm just sitting on my couch. So I'll listen to that usually while working too, because it helps kind of calm me. But I definitely do that. Writing is like a big one, but I do that a lot, like in the house. But I think a big thing for me is I need alone time. Even if that's just like a half hour in my car, like running errands, that is a huge thing for me. So this week I've been stuck in the house basically.
Errands.
Yeah.
I hate spending money, but it's therapeutic to run errands alone.
That's what I mean. And, you know, I'm working from home now. The kids are doing distant learning. So I don't get to leave the house really during the week.
Right.
I do run out for like a half hour for my lunch to like bring them to Grammy's.
Yeah.
But basically that's it. So now like today, to kind of give myself something, you know what I mean? Take care of myself. I am going to get my nails done because I
Yay!
recently started liking that.
I think that's great.
Yeah, so
Oh, I didn't
I'll
put
go do
any
that.
on.
Put in a Target run, go pick that up. So
Starbucks
for
is in
me,
Target.
that's
Or is it
it's
over
little
there? Do they
things.
have, sorry, do they have Starbucks and Target over there?
They do, but I don't go in on the weekends.
Oh, okay.
It's wild. So there is
We know
a
how we feel
Starbucks.
about Target.
Yeah,
We
there's
love Target.
a Starbucks that they just opened up kind of down the road that has a drive-through, so I'll probably hit that up today. So just little
Nice.
things like that, just having like an hour or two
Mm.
alone, it helps my mental space.
It
basically.
does. Like you need to recharge your battery.
Yes.
You know what's funny is that yesterday or the day before, and it's not the first time he said it, but like, now that he's getting older, when he says it, like, he can explain it better. And AJ was like, do you ever just want to like be alone? Like, you don't want to talk to your friends. Like, you just want to be alone. I'm like, yes, I do. But
Aw.
he's so hyper all the time and his brain's always going. It's only natural that sometimes he likes to just be alone to play by himself, and
Right.
because he needs to recharge because he uses so much of his battery. I mean,
Right.
like he goes through his it's just crazy. And I'm the same way, so that's why I tell him, like, of course I understand, like I like being alone too. Like, he didn't go to his dad's house this weekend, so which he was a little upset about, because when he's at his dad's, he can just lay down and play games. And I was like, look, you can sit and play games all night. Like, I have him on, I don't know if you've noticed, or Brennan and Aiden, her kids, told you, he's on like, he has to spend whatever time he has after school, half goes to whatever he wants to do and half goes to me. And that's the new rule. So it's either you decide you want to do stuff with me for an hour and a half or 2 hours before you play, or after
Yeah.
you play. But that's the new rule now. It's like half for me, half for you. And his improvement has changed. Like over the past week, even I called this teacher to talk to her about something. She's like, I don't know what's going on at home, but the past week he's been more calm. And
That's
because
amazing.
we've been like the challenge that I'm doing, he does it too. He does it with me. So he watched The Secret with me. He has a kid's journal. I think I have it right here, but it's called for anybody who has like 10-year-olds or in that age range. It's a journal called Boys with Dreams Become Men with Visions, and they have to write their weekly goals. They have to write things they're grateful for, and then there's a blank page, and I put in journal prompts, and he has to fill out that. And he doesn't enjoy it, but when he's done, he always says, like, I'm glad I did that. And I don't read it. I tell him,
Yeah.
I'm like, if you
Oh,
don't want me
really?
to read it, I won't. I mean, he's
Ah.
not looking, I do. But like, but like, because the prompts that I write are nothing that's like out of this world. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the only time I've ever read it, like I just was like scanning through it, and it was one day that he did not want to do it. And it's like he has a 3-minute gratitude journal as well, and it's more like kid like. It's just one page every day. Name 3 things you're grateful for, circle the face that you feel you were today, and then write how you're feeling. I feel like I should be playing games right now. I don't want to do this right now. I was like, well, you just let it out, son.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
That's what it's for.
So
Let it out.
yeah, so self-care is important not only for men, women, mothers, fathers, but for children too. Like we have to start teaching them now about it.
Yeah.
If I knew, back then what I knew now, or if my mom had those resources back then, who knows where my life would be if I, meditated and really took care of my ADHD when I was younger. Meds were off the table and we didn't know any other ways. So, but for me, for self-care, prior to this week, I like to do facials. I always feel like a new person, like, look at my skin all soft. Um, um, I don't know. Like sometimes it would just be like, I don't ever really watch anything. Like I don't have a TV in my space at all. No TV. I barely watch Netflix, but like because especially now because I've been busier, but that I would watch like an hour, like a comedy special, or play Candy Crush or something. Like that's just kind of how I unwind. Or color. I like to color. I know it sounds crazy, but I do. But after this week, Monday I had a complete mental breakdown, cried all day, and then I started the challenge on Tuesday. And I've been walking the first 2 days. I did a mile in the morning, and then the next 2 days I did 2 miles in the morning. And then I'd come home and stretch, And hold on. Okay, hold on. Look at my vision boards that I made. Sorry, I was like awkward as hell. I put it in there so I can open it and I visualize, and I haven't cried in 4 days, which is like a big deal. Haven't drinking Red Bull. Self-care is also nutrition wise as well. And I've noticed a difference. Like I've overall been, I don't want to say happy. I hate that term because happy and sad are the same thing. They're just moments, you know what I mean?
Right.
Versus like, but I felt more peace and I felt more calm, like since I've been doing this. So, and you know, good things have been happening.
Right.
You see them yesterday or whatever. So for
So
me, self-care is working when you
what
do it consistently.
what is the meditation thing that you use? Like, is it an app?
No. So what I do is me and AJ do 5 minutes of stretching first. And I used to get angry when he would like not take it serious.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my mom was like, you need to learn how to not get mad, because then I would be like, forget it, go play.
Yeah.
Because it would make, because I don't have patience.
Yeah.
But this week, meditating like alone and writing and walking or whatever, I've had more patience. So when he's not taking it seriously, I just pretend like he's not, you know, doing that and just keep doing it serious. And then he gets serious about it. And then we lay on the floor and I put on the frequency 222, and it's like a aura body healing frequency. Energy is everything. And it's just like sound, you know. And we lay on the floor and like I prompt him. So I'd be like, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4.
Yeah.
So he knows that that's the deal already because we've done this before. And I say things like, I'll be like, okay, breathe in positivity, exhale negativity, you know, breathe in good thoughts, exhale stress. And I do that. And originally it's only supposed to be 2 minutes because that's all you need to like improve your mentality is 2 minutes of meditation a day. But the other day we ended up doing it for like 6 minutes. Like he enjoys it now.
Wow.
He doesn't say it, but like he was like, are we meditating today? You know, like the other day, but not on Fridays and Saturdays. He's like, Mom, please not today. I'm supposed to be at Dad's house anyway. I'm like, it's okay. We don't have to do it today, or you don't. But yeah, so, and we just lay on the floor and that's it. And it makes us closer. You know what I mean? Because I spent so many years not being present because of whatever, mentally present. I mean, that, you know, as parents, we all make mistakes and it's never too late to fix them, especially when they're young. And, you know, and, oh, crazy. So I was reading this thing. He's like obsessed with Einstein now because Einstein's whole thing is like, your intelligence isn't based on your knowledge. It's based on your imagination. So because AJ has such a big imagination, he's like taken into like a liking of this thing. And I've always called him like grumpy grandpa. So we were talking about like, you know, his IQ and the Einstein's IQ. And do you know how they measure the IQ test?
No.
Okay, so they give you an intelligence test. I don't want to say this wrong, so I'm going to mess it up, but they give you an intelligence test to test the age of like your brain processing.
Right.
You know what I mean? They take that age, divide it by your actual age, and times it by 100. It has been a joke since AJ was 1 that I call him my grumpy grandpa. His mental age is 84.5.
Wow.
About, because if you divide that by 7 when he took his IQ test, that makes it 127. Like he's like above average. Most people only score between 85 and 114. And at 7 he scored 127.
That's insane.
Exactly. And that's why his imagination is crazy. Is, you know, like look at Einstein, Tesla, you know, everybody like that. They all had high IQs because their imagination was out of this world.
Right.
So I always tell AJ like, hey, you know, you can be and do anything. Like you can make the next invention. Like these people did it.
Right.
Be you, bro. Sorry, that was a little off topic, but I just thought that was interesting.
Totally. Question.
Answer.
So I'll kind of explain it a bit more, but sometimes finding time to do like self-care types of things can be a struggle.
Oh yeah.
So generally what I do, especially this week, I've had to do it. between like helping the kids with schoolwork and then working and dealing with customers,
Yeah.
which is in general very stressful for me.
I get the texts.
Yeah, super stressful. So what I've been doing is just having, like, once I take them to Grammy's house, I come back and just take a little time to just sit for like 15 minutes.
Mhm.
No phone, no nothing, and I just play music.
Mhm.
So that's one thing that I've been doing, but it's also not a lot of time. Like sometimes I feel like I need more. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out what that'll look like.
Well, all I can suggest is that if you have, sorry, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. The sun's right in my face. If you have 15 minutes, take your 10 minutes for your music, go on YouTube and find 5-minute guided meditation. It's 5 minutes. And when you're done, you really feel better. Like if you put your headphones in and just listen to it, close your eyes and just breathe and listen to what they're saying, it works. Like it works. Consistency is the issue.
Right.
It's if that no, most people don't follow through. I don't.
Yeah,
You know what I
don't
mean?
either.
Doing something 4 days in a row, that's the most consistent I've ever been in my life. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I've done those things before, like before going into work, especially when I used to waitress, like I do the 5-minute guided meditation. That way, you don't, other thoughts don't come in because someone else is in your head already.
Right.
You know what I
That
mean?
makes sense.
Yeah. So I would try to just try it. Like one day when you have your 15 minutes, just try 5 minutes of guided meditation and then do your music and see how you feel after that.
Yeah.
Because that can make a difference.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never meditated.
What's funny is that my mom asked me about that the other day. She was like, does Lee know about meditation and yoga and this and that? I was like, I don't know. We've never really talked about it, but I was like, I'm not sure. So there's a book called, love my books, 10% Happier by Dan Harris. And it's about meditating. And it says how I tamed the voice in my head, reduced stress without losing my edge, and found self-help that actually works. I've read this book like 5 times because it's an honest book. It's funny. He talks about when he used to do drugs. He talks about, when a lot of people think about meditating or whatever, in here it said it. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what I think. People think that if you meditate, all of a sudden you're going to become like, lose your
Center my
edge.
chi.
Right. Like you're going to lose like your wit though, or your personality or something. And he's like, and that's not the case. He's like, it makes you wittier. It makes you more of yourself because you're starting to, help yourself.
Right.
So I definitely would recommend that book, 10% Happier. Because he said, they asked him like, out of meditating, how much happier are you? And the answer was, I'm about 10% happier. And then he wrote that book. And he was like, it may not seem a lot, but it is. He's like, because when you meditate and start, taking care of yourself, he's like, all the good things start coming to your life. So as far as meditating, just start small. The guided meditation, I listen before I go to bed to that is self-care. To go to sleep, I put on like an 8-hour guided meditation and just let it play. And then while
The
I'm
whole
sleeping, right, because while you're sleeping, it's playing through your subconscious. So you can pick the kind of guided meditation that you want. I've done, when I was like going through a lot, I would do anxiety reducing guided meditation or depression guided meditation. But now I'm doing more of like law of attraction type of stuff and just letting that ride out in my brain all night. But there are some days where I woke up feeling better.
Yeah, I can't have anything on. Like with the TV, I can't sleep with the TV on, and I also can't have any light. So even like my alarm clock in my room, I have to put something over it.
Well, that's the cool thing is that usually with those guided meditations, it's like a dark background.
Yeah.
Like that it's playing to like space or something. So the light's not so bright. So like that's the purpose of it for it. Yeah. But one day I would just try it. Because it makes me fall asleep. That's why I do it. Yeah. Because my thoughts aren't running wild because I'm listening to him.
But so I used to have a problem falling asleep, but now my anxiety meds, they knock me out. So
mine are not, and it's pissing me off.
So I go to sleep pretty quick, but I also have the most wildest dreams. And it's so weird, like people out there don't dream, and I dream and I remember them. Like some people, it's like I think
Can't.
like
You
30
wake up and you're
minutes.
like, oh my God, the best dream. Shit, what was it?
Yeah, I remember mine, but it's
Me
usually
too.
like the traumatic ones.
Me too.
Um,
Like
but I
the
dream
nail one
a
I told
lot.
you about in my mouth. Like,
Yeah.
ooh.
So that's, you know what I mean? Like I don't have trouble sleeping.
Mhm.
It's more so when I'm awake. That's the
Isn't
issue.
it
And
all?
sometimes I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to go to bed. And Matt's like, oh, you tired? I'm like, no, I just want to go to bed.
I just don't
Like
want to be
I'm done
awake.
with today.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna
That
play
yeah,
this for 8 hours.
I have trouble falling asleep and staying asleep.
Yeah.
And when I wake up in the middle of the night, for whatever reason, I just find any snacks that are around and just like the other day I woke up like I woke up at like 1:30 in the morning, pissed off because I woke up. I was mad that I was awake. Like I wanted to get a good night's sleep. And I ate like 2 fruit roll-ups laying down and like sour airheads and then just like all the garbage in my nightstand and then I went to bed.
Jesus.
I woke up so sick. I was like,
Ew.
fuck, I can't do that anymore.
You didn't sleep when you were a kid though.
Huh?
You didn't have to sleep much when you were a kid. You were always up super early.
Oh, at your house? Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, Lou, let's go. Let's play. What's up?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
serious?
funny is that even into like going into my teenage years, I was like that. Like
Yeah.
up early. Now, fucking pull a tooth out to get me out of bed. All right. So here's a question. And again, this question can be for anybody listening. Please respond. Let us know your thoughts. What do you define wellness? How do you define wellness? Self-wellness.
Not being stressed out and feel like I have a grip on the day. You know what I mean? Like if I do all the little things that I need to do
Yep.
for, you know, my self-care,
Yep.
then it's just natural, you know, like I'm good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say just pretty much that.
Yeah. So in my book I wrote already, but this was a long time ago, but it's still relevant. I just put being okay, feeling calm, body, mind, and spirit, feeling good with the decisions I make on a daily basis, doing mornings right, feeling accomplished, and I can't read my handwriting, but that's enough.
Did you try that calm powder that I told you about?
No, I haven't gotten it yet. I need to. I know. I'm sorry. Let me hold on.
I'm telling you, I really think that'll help. That stuff is
Hey Siri, please
amazing.
remind me an hour to go buy calm.
There you go. So
Okay.
good. I swear by it. Because I used to have to take ZQuil every night before like I was on meds.
Yeah.
I took ZQuil every night because that was the only way I could go to sleep. And then one of my friends at work was like, oh, try like gummies or whatever. And I'm like, nah, like, you know.
They're gross anyway.
Yeah.
I
So
take like 6 of those NyQuil things and then they take the Z-Quils, like the
yeah.
gummies, and then they taste good. So I'm just like, pop.
So, I mean, obviously it's not good to take ZQuil for like 3 years straight every night.
Did you have the weirdest dreams on those?
I did. That was the other thing.
I liked it though. I was like, I'm ready for bed, 7:30, go, 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 like just to see what I would dream because I would dream these crazy dreams and I loved them. Because I usually, yeah, good, sorry.
It's fine. Yeah, I had crazy dreams on those. And my friend, the same friend, she was like, oh, try Calm. You have it, like, you know, they have it at CVS or whatever. But right before that, I had bought this like healthy, like basically like a relaxing, help sleep type
natural melatonin.
Yeah, that, you know, so I tried that and I had the worst reaction to it. And I want to say it was like birch, or there was all different like natural things in it.
Yeah.
And bruh,
What was
my reaction, I couldn't stop itching.
it? Ew.
Yeah. So apparently that's what my body does when it rejects something.
You just
But
itch.
I was itchy, but then also I was at work that morning after I had taken it the night before, and I started like my neck went super stiff. Like I couldn't turn my head, like my back. It was like everything was just starting to get numb.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my God. And I was like biting
Yeah.
like really hard, and I couldn't stop. So I was like, hey, I think I need to go home. See, what I did was I took this natural stuff to help give me like peace or whatever. And
Right.
it was the worst reaction I think I've ever had to something, because I couldn't unclench my jaw. And like
Ugh.
all this was literally numb. Like I couldn't move. So I came
That's
home
weird.
and I like had to sleep it off. It was the worst thing.
Wow.
And then of course like my jaw hurt for days because how hard
Clenching.
I was clenching, and I just, it was horrible. And I
Well,
still can't remember the exact thing. I don't know if it was like blackberry or something I don't know, but
that's
never again.
crazy. Well, you know, like when I sleep, obviously no shame, I like suck my thumb still when I sleep.
Yeah.
But not like, it's just when I'm sleeping, I can't help it. And I can tell when I'm not dreaming, like even if I don't remember them, I can tell when I'm having nightmares, because I'll wake up sometimes. This actually hasn't happened in a couple months, surprisingly. I think it was when I was taking ZQL and stuff, because the dreams were like so intense.
Yeah.
Like, but even like days after, when I would wake up, my I don't want to like overly show my thumbs because they're so weird, but like right below my knuckle and on this side, I would be bleeding because of how hard I was biting down, and I would
Oh man.
break right through the skin, and I'd wake up with like blood everywhere. I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, it is. So on self-care, I actually found, when you think of self-care, you know, you obviously think of most of the things that we're talking about, just, you know,
Yeah.
being well and making sure you're okay. But there's another aspect of it. And I wanted to talk about that. So this is a quote. I love my quotes. I love my challenges. I love my PDFs, and I love books that you can write in, just so you know. Do the difficult things while they are easy, and do the great things while they are small. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Everybody knows that.
You
So
paused.
what?
Oh, now you're back.
Oh,
I would start that again, that part.
the whole thing?
Yeah.
All right. We don't even have to edit, like, whatever. We are who we are. So there's a topic called challenging self-care. And that's not, you know, what most people think about. When you think about self-care, you think about positive and things to do. But this, it's basically saying, like, you know, what are challenging tasks in your self-care? And an example could be setting boundaries with others, creating limits for yourself, confronting someone who constantly hurts you. We have to be aware of the ways that we're sabotaging our self-care.
Yeah.
And, you know, it goes beyond reading, meditation, you know, doing facials, whatever. It's about setting boundaries with other people as well, and like really recognizing where you're not taking care of yourself. And that is, you know, for a lot of people, it can be like in a toxic relationship or drug use or whatever the case may be. But there are challenges to self-care, and, you know, time is one of them. Yeah. Time, this, that, but, you know, you have to recognize what those challenges are that are getting in the way of you getting to your best self. And
I think
correct
that's
them.
like a huge reason why we need those other things like meditation and all the different ways for self-care, is because the flip side of that is you're not having those conversations, or you're doubting what you're feeling or anything like that. That's why we need to kind of get away and take care of ourselves, because
Exactly.
we're putting that wall up like, well, I'm not going to deal with that. So how do I deal with the stress? Because I don't want to deal with that.
Exactly.
And it's like this vicious circle that just keeps happening.
And that goes back to something we probably talk about every single time is, you know, recognizing when you're feeling a certain way, stopping it, but not ignoring it, not repressing it, recognizing, saying, I am super stressed out right now. Take a minute to breathe, and you'd be surprised how do you know what the in 4, hold 4, out 4 is? Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, so it's when you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and breathe out for 4 seconds. If you do that 4 times when you're stressed out, your stress levels go down. So
Really?
and that is a good way. Breathing is the way to living a good life, like breathing correctly. And so, if you recognize I'm stressed out, you do your 4-4-4 or 4-7-8. Like there's different ones. You
Yeah.
can do whatever count you want. Like I'm a smoker, so I just do 3-3-3 because I can't blow out for 4 seconds. That's what she said. And
I think you say that at least once every video.
oh
If
yeah,
not
for
more than
sure,
once.
without a
It's
doubt.
great.
There's no doubt. Yeah, my mom used to hate it, but now she starts saying it.
There you go.
My friend Brittany says it. Like anybody that's like
Can't beat
rolls
'em,
their
join
eyes
'em.
when I do it, now they start doing it because so yeah, so recognizing any feeling like anger, uh hopelessness, guilt, shame, anything, like recognize that you're feeling it, accept it, and then let it go.
Yeah.
Be like, this moment will pass. I feel guilty or I feel shameful for this reason, but I can start a new day tomorrow.
Right.
Kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Always recognize your feelings. Don't repress them, because God, Jesus Christ, we could do a whole series on repressed feelings and how that's fucked us up.
Yeah. You know what's weird? So recently, well, this is one thing I've always felt I was good at is giving advice, not taking advice from
Right.
myself, but
Those who can't do teach.
yeah, exactly. So I've always been pretty good at that.
Mhm.
So it was like one of the things that I've liked almost about every job I've had is being able to have people confide in me and me trying to help them overcome something. So a few days ago, I found an app called The Mighty, and I enjoy going on there, seeing struggles of what
My
other
phone
people.
is blowing up
Yes.
from the things that I've posted and
Yeah.
commented.
So
And
that's
I
what
wrote
I
to the
mean.
ambassadors for them. I told you that.
Yeah. I just feel like it's such a good feeling, even if
Mhm.
I'm like in a shitty mood, to
And with
see what other people are going through and give them advice. And, I had one girl say, you explain this so well that it literally basically explained it how I couldn't say it. It's
exactly
like what she said. And I was
Yep.
like, see, like just putting honest, raw feelings out there.
Some of the comments that I got, I was like,
yeah.
I can't believe this. Like,
Yeah. And it
'cause
feels good because
it does.
you know what I mean? We've been
And
there. We're there.
and the good thing about that app is that, you don't have to put your real name. You don't have
Yeah.
to put your real picture. She has one, and then I found out about it, and I started one with the profile is my information, but the profile is us. It's Cups of Crazy. And and it's just so good because you can be anonymous or not, help people, and you can really see that you are not alone. Like
Right.
you
That's
are
the biggest thing.
And also, just to touch base, September is Suicide Awareness or Prevention Awareness Month. This is the week of it. The actual day is the 10th, but overall September is that. I will be doing a video on my channel about that. It's going to be a little bit intense, maybe trigger warnings for some people. But I just think that it's so important for people, especially after seeing this app, like to not feel alone and to know that you're not the only one. And, people on the outside who know me just they would think like, oh, she would never even think about that. But no one knows what goes on behind closed doors.
Yep.
Social media are just milliseconds like of the day. You don't know what happened right before.
You play a part. Everyone has a different part that you play
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
for depending on who you're around. You know what I mean? You put that hat on and, around this person, I have to be this way. Around this person, I'm allowed to be somewhat myself, but I got to tone it down and water it down.
But that's not right.
Right. And who is the real, we said it before. Like,
Mhm.
do you know the real you? Is there a certain side? Exactly. You
Yes and
also
no.
water down for yourself when you think about it.
I feel like, I'm trying to word this right. I feel like in here, not heart, like below that, like soul type thing, I feel like I know exactly who I am.
Mm.
But I feel like between emotions, feelings, your brain, the 5 mental disorders that I fucking have to deal with, it's hard to feel like you can ever be that person that you know you are, because you have all these things that tell you you can't be this person, or whatever the case may be. I told Lee the other day, this is the most optimistic I felt since I was probably 17, because I really feel like we're doing something good, and it's making me want to do my channel again. And I just feel like, you know, this is something that for years, a decade, I've always wanted to do as a career, like
Yeah.
helping people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my passion, if you will. And I found that I'm passionate about this. So, you know, I know who I am, but doing self-care, I feel like really makes you understand who you are.
Yeah.
That's what I feel the biggest benefit of self-care is not even that you know who you are, but that you're allowed to tap into it and like start digging and seeing like, this is who I am. People can accept me as I am or not. You know, my mom yells at me sometimes because like I'll be in a store and I'll curse, like, oh, what the fuck? Like, but like, I don't care. Like, that's who I am. Like, and it's, you know, it's Jimmy's fault, not mine. I never heard my mom curse ever until Jimmy. You know what I mean? And you know how he is.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's how I picked up the bad cursing habit, because it's all habit, you know? But I know deep down, like, I'm a good person. I know I want to help people. I know I've made a lot of mistakes, but I also know that some of them weren't my fault.
Right.
Because we deal with things, you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's hard to say, honestly. I think when you've watered yourself down so much to appease people around you, you kind of forget, like, who am I really if every day I play a different part, you know?
because,
like,
right.
it's tricky to figure it out.
It's not, and people sorry. When you talk about, I'm so sorry, when you talk about like meditating and, you know, things like this, and you know how it helps you center and find who you are, it's not easy. Like, people think like, oh, meditation and spiritual and da-da-da. It's hard work, because it's consistent, and it's facing a lot of the demons that you've hidden. You know, I exposed my biggest demon on Monday, and I feel like, you know, you read about these books about people who have like these epiphanies, or, you know, I'm not religious, but like, you know, from God or the universe or whatever. And when I unloaded what I felt was my most repressed feeling, I felt like a different person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I spent a year and a half trying to disassociate from being a wife, a stepmom, a mom. You know, it's like you have to play all these roles, but it's like, why can't you just be you with all those roles? If you can't be yourself, that you don't belong there.
Right.
And that's where I struggle, because doing this podcast is a different version of than the version you'd see on my channel, because I'm more, you know, together, you know, trying not to curse because I'm trying to send a message or whatever. You know, my kid was in the first one I did, but I am both of those people. I am very kind and I am sweet, and I can be mild mannered, but I'm also funny and I curse, and, you know, like, smoke pot, like, what, you know, that doesn't, but it doesn't make me a bad person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, there's no difference of someone liking to drink beer after work versus someone smoking a joint after work. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no difference. I'm a good person at the end of the day, and I feel like as long as you know that and you can get past all the shitty things that you may have done in your life or have gone through, then eventually you can get to a place where you won't allow anybody to be in your space, or to be in a space where you're not accepted for who you are.
Right. No, I feel that. And
you know what I mean?
over the past, like, probably like 12 or 13 years, I've done a better job at that. And I notice, like, when you go through something that just rocks your world entirely and not a good way,
Mhm.
you start to figure out like who you are, what you want, what you don't want, what mistakes you'll never make again. Um, and that is a huge thing.
Do
You know what I
you?
mean? I feel like being alone sometimes is like the best, which sounds so cliche, but being alone and figuring out who you are and what you want, that is a big part in it. So even though I haven't learned completely from past mistakes, I still recognize them and kind of have to make a plan on how to um, I can't think of the fucking word I'm thinking of. How to basically go forward with correcting it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I do need time sometimes, where in the past, it was like a long time coming, but I didn't want to see it. Where now, which is also bad, but I almost anticipate things because it's like, well, I know it's going to happen. So just don't freak out when it does,
Right.
prepare yourself, which is a good and a bad thing, if I'm being honest.
Expectation is the root of all heartache.
Right. And if you don't, expect something to go perfect, think of the worst case scenario. So then when it happens, you were prepared for it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Hope for the best, expect the worst.
Yeah.
Or hope, right? Is that how it is? Yeah.
Oh.
So I just seen something in here and all of a sudden I can't freaking find it naturally. Oh, okay. So now that we've been talking about this, obviously, like I said, we want to help people. I'm real big on the PDF thing. Our website is going to keep getting better and better because I'm trying to make it better and better. So I'm going to post on there a wellness plan. And it's basically, things that you do to help your wellness. And you write it daily, twice a week, weekly, every other week. And you can put that. And I'm also going to post something about acknowledging your worth. And it's basically like, I am worthy of, and then you have 20 spaces to fill in. Do you know how hard it is to feel worthy of 20 things? I only made it to 13.
I don't even know if I get
Well,
past,
here are examples because it can be hard sometimes because sometimes people think so I don't care. I'll put what I put. So I am worthy of self-love, happy relationships, success, good days, self-control, making a change, being myself unapologetically. I did this list 2 days ago. Discipline. I'm worthy of my dreams becoming a reality, telling my story, being happy, peaceful, and tranquility. I still need 7 more, so if anybody else has suggestions. So I'm gonna
holla at me.
Yeah, I'm gonna put those in the goodie section on our website. Anything else?
No, I think we're good for now.
Yep, we can definitely do more about that. So thank you everybody for listening. I'll have the website in the description box below. Like, follow, subscribe, download. We appreciate everything.
Yes.
And yeah, we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Bye, coffee beans.
Over and out.